Welcome to Live Action Star Wars. I'm Ralph, and I am joined by Alex Stewart of the Smuggler's Dispatch, as well as the Backside of Water. This is like last minute. This is as last minute as you can get. I was eating lunch, and I sat down, and I turned on YouTube, and there was an Andor trailer, and I realized they had uploaded it 22 seconds before I turned it on. And so I watched it. I'm like, that's great. And I asked my co-host James, who's in England, have you watched it? And he's like, is there a link to this? And I'm like, oh yeah, here. And I said, do you want to do it? Do you want to go live? He's at work.
What time is it over there?
It's 8 hours ahead of us. So it's 8:30 at night over there.
Okay.
So yeah.
I've watched it 3 times. Yeah, I've watched it 3 times.
I've watched it once. And then I have it loaded up here. So we're going to watch it together.
Great.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, man.
Who are in the chat. Lucha must have his bell icon selected because he got notified that this was going live. Stevie's here. She knows because the last half hour I've been frantically trying to get artwork done, trying to create this background. Making the bed.
Hi, Stevie.
And then my sister said she got the notification, but that was a text message that she sent me while doing the show. Sarah, join the chat. And then Dartherian is here as well. So totally last minute. Want to talk about it. We have a huge week this week because yesterday we did our regular episode. Tomorrow we're doing Kenobi episode 1, and then Saturday morning Kenobi episode 2. I just don't have time to watch 2 Kenobi episodes tomorrow to cover on the show and get to Celebration.
So wait, are they doing a twofer at the beginning?
2 are launching tomorrow.
Oh, this is overwhelming.
It is. And James was like, just go do it. Just go. If you want to do it, go for it. He said, he's like, we're not going to be able to do this because, we're going to have 3 episodes of Kenobi done in the can live by Wednesday. They come out Wednesdays.
That's insane, man. I don't know how you guys do that. That is overwhelming.
James is at work. There he is. But he's watching. I'm surprised you're like, yeah, let's do it. Well, I'm pretty sure you have a busy schedule.
I do, but as you can see today, I'm in an empty room because we were getting our carpets cleaned, and so I wiped the schedule to be able to do that and be here to accommodate. So yeah, I was like, because when you texted me, I was like, oh wait, they dropped a trailer for it, and so I was completely unaware. So I'm glad that you sent it over to me.
Yeah, and I scooped James, who didn't know there was a trailer. Like,
I know
it was impressive. Really weird. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through it.
Yeah.
I'm going to pop it up here and we're going to go through it live. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, I guess go watch it and come back here. We're not just going to play it in its entirety. We're going to go through not frame by frame, but we're going to go through some shots and look at some stuff, see anything of interest. And then, yeah, I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
So you said you had questions about it. I've only seen it once. So anyone in the chat that has anything to point out, even if it's been pointed out 100 times on Twitter, let us know because chances are I missed it. So
there's a lot packed in here. There's no question about that.
Yeah. So here we go. I have the volume down a little bit as well. Enough for us to hear it, but not to blow up the thing. And I think Disney's pretty cool as far as these kinds of videos go. And so we shouldn't get kicked off the live feed. So I'll say this right now. For those of you who are watching live, if for some reason we get kicked off, I doubt we will, go to the Smuggler's Dispatch, a fairly new podcast.
Yeah, just started in January.
And it's, if you're familiar with Alex's The Backside of Water, where they do deep dives on Disney attractions at Disneyland, it's a similar thing. They do deep dives into many aspects of Star Wars everything.
Yes,
Everything.
yes, no subject unturned.
Right. All righty. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this, and we could just chat
Yeah.
about it. Um, so what do you this
I love the
not
precision
Jeddah?
of his movement in this. It's absolutely a small like clock.
Right, and this isn't a job that goes to a droid.
Which
So there's some sort of like
I'm assuming
there's like
that
a
this is like
reference.
is this a sounding of the alarm? Is that what we're kind of meant to think here?
Well, we go from that to someone else like hitting a tube on their door in their neighborhood.
Exactly. It seems
But
almost like signal fires of sorts.
yeah, and I don't think this. I at first I'm like, oh, maybe this is Jeddah or something, but I don't think it is. And who knows what order these are, shot in, what scenes these come from. It appears that these kids are listening to this hammer, but it could be from a different place. So I think this is a place we haven't seen before, but maybe we have. Now, any guesses to what this planet is?
I honestly I have no clue. I mean,
Okay,
it
to
looks like it
me,
could be a little bit of a Yavin sort of throwback.
right. I think that once we get into the thick of things, it kind of reminds me of the place we saw Din Djarin in the flashbacks.
Ah,
But I think that was supposed to be Naboo.
was it?
So, I think so. I'm
Which
pretty
is
sure.
I plan on retiring on Naboo.
That's a good one. I'm looking at this. I'm going to see if there's any trace of Naboo.
It looks too
Just in case.
dingy. This looks too dingy to be Naboo.
But this is also after the fall of the Republic.
Yeah.
Can we see a really, really crappy Naboo?
I
Wouldn't that
hope
be
not.
nuts?
I don't want
But
to
I mean-
retire on a crappy Naboo.
Yeah. No, of course not. But I mean, just thinking out loud, like I feel like that would be kind of interesting. It would show a passage of time. Yeah, it looks really dingy.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Well, and that's why I'm hoping that we see some new places here. I'm hoping that we see some
Yeah.
new locations, because that's one of the things that's the spice of Star Wars, is the fact that you get to see all these new and exotic locations, even if exotic is dingy as we see here.
Right. But if you look at right behind the guy, it looks like things are burnt out, like it's been attacked already.
Yeah, it definitely looks like there's some rubble going on.
So
Some rebel rubble.
This might be a regular occurrence, this alarm.
Or is this because the one thing that I actually felt very much with this was almost like the Islamic at the end of the day sort of the thing that they do when they're in like a tower and they say like the evening prayer or whatever. I'm not familiar with the tradition, but it felt very much like that at first to me. But then when I saw, like you said, that other connection with the person hitting the smaller tube, that's when I thought, instead of this being like either a clock sounding, is this some sort of alarm that they're sending out? But I can't imagine that he would be doing like this very stylized movement if it is an alarm.
Right. So it's a regular occurrence.
That's
it's
what it feels like to me.
Guard, he goes up. Yeah, okay, I see that. Yeah, this city does not look familiar. And if you look, it looks like it slopes up on a cliff to the right of the tower.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know.
You know what this almost it's going to be hard to tell. It's going to be really hard to tell because there's so many. Yeah, I mean, it could be the Kid Cassian planet. I mean, we could see maybe some origins. Maybe this next shot that we're seeing of the children's, maybe we're actually going way back to Cassian's upbringing.
Like a primitive, more. Let's see here. They look primitive. Or more primitive.
Yeah. But at the same time, it looks like a tribe that Cassian could easily be a part of.
Right. And I know that Star Wars doesn't have to be one sort of biome per planet. Like, yeah. This is definitely a different, like those hills in the distance are definitely look different than the city we just saw. So they could be completely
I think these are just to me. I feel like these are different planets that we're
Right.
seeing here, and that's what I think is cool. Is because you're almost seeing, and again, Star Wars is really good at this, showing the galactic scale of conflict. That it's not just something that happens in a single like microcosm. It's throughout the entire galaxy that you're feeling these things.
Right. Right. I kind of like that. Like
Yeah,
maybe the
Stevie says that
Empire
they
is
look
so
shocked at the appearance by the shocked by the appearance of the starship. I think that is.
oh
I think that yeah, it almost feels like I've really been for some reason going down the rabbit hole of the untouched tribe in the Maldives here on
mhm.
Earth and how they just have zero connection with the outside world. And so when they see things like helicopters or airplanes fly over, they literally shoot arrows at it. And that's the feeling that I get with this, that it is such a foreign experience that it's almost like
Okay.
the sky is falling feeling.
I like it. Yeah, let's see that. Okay, yeah, so they're not reacting. The ship looks new. It has the feelings of like the blockade runner, but it doesn't. It's a little bit different. So yeah, they look a little more primitive. This woman just to the right here, her outfit looks like Kanan, but I'm sure that's me
And
looking into something.
the interesting thing is you see her again. You see her. This is the
Right,
first time you see her, so you can tell she's going to be reoccurring.
right. Yeah, I don't think we've seen a planet quite like this. Like this has sort of a Skull Island, Vietnam sort of look.
Yeah, well,
Which
Stevie said
but
earlier
Kashyyyk,
that it does feel. What is Maz Kanata's planet? Uh,
Takodana,
this feels. I get a little bit of that vibe.
right,
I
right.
could agree with that, Stevie. I think that's a fair statement.
So Tower Planet and Tribal Cassian are different, I think. Yeah, Star Wars planets don't have multiple biomes. Yeah, could this be a flashback to maybe young Cassian
That's
living in
almost
this?
yeah. Or is this a sibling of Cassian, and we're seeing maybe like his home tribe and the conflict? Because I get very Cold War vibes with this, and that's something that when we get there, I want to maybe cover because there's something very very unique in this trailer
Okay.
that
Oh, can I just say I love this trailer?
it's great. It's great.
And I think because it's not relying on like, and I've said this before, cool moments. There's no like sting of where you see like, oh, it's 3PO, or oh,
Yeah.
there's no like we see Mon Mothma, but she's part of this story. We know she's part of this story. It's not some big reveal. There isn't like with the Obi-Wan trailer where we got like Inquisitors. It's like, oh,
Yes.
that's the guy from the other thing. The fact that we know so little about Cassian, I like that it's an open book, and
I
it
to
could be
me
anything.
it's Mandalorian-esque with that you don't have any of the traditional main lines, and that's what I
And
love.
the only problem I have with this series is we already know the fate of the character.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the only bummer. But so far I'm intrigued because it looks like sort of a Star Wars corner that we haven't been to.
Exactly. It's an
Um,
era that we're not familiar with, which is
I
awesome.
mean, well, we do see some Clone Wars vehicles.
And we see
the
some clone
Republican ships.
troopers. There's actually clone
Right,
troopers in here too.
right. But I don't think there's any lightsabers in this, which still every Star Wars thing has lightsabers, with the exception of the Ewok Adventures.
And Star Wars
So
droids, the droids adventures from
oh,
1985.
oh yeah.
I don't know. That was one we just
They
covered on
might.
our
I
show, and it's
guarantee you they probably
hilarious.
do. Oh. Let's move ahead because I want to get through some more good stuff.
Okay, so this next shot is something that I find fascinating right after this one, which I love. I'm curious what's going on. Are we looking at wreckage, salvage, or are we looking at almost like a shipping yard, like a shipyard where they're building something new up on that plateau?
It looks like maybe a scrap yard where they're collecting metal to build war machines.
Okay. Okay.
So like, I mean, this is we're hitting like Cassian was alive before the Empire, and he dies during the Death Star
Yeah. Yeah.
Battle of Yavin. Essentially, makes it almost to the Battle of Yavin. So this could literally be any point in time,
Which, real
between
quick,
Old Republic and this.
do we know how much time occurs between when they take the plans, when they have the plans for the Death Star, and they actually execute the Battle of Yavin? Is that
Okay.
a number of months? Is that what is the
Here's
timeline?
here's my thing. People tend to lean on the side of Star Wars happens immediately after Rogue One.
Mhm.
I think clearly it's hard to say because
I think they've
if
left
any
it
time has
vague.
passed, even if any time has passed, Princess Leia would have gotten the plans to the rebels sooner. So it has to be fairly close to after Rogue One to when we get to Star Wars.
I mean,
I
potential.
mean, yeah,
Oh,
she jumps into hyperspace. What do you see? What do you see?
sorry. Looks similar to where Cal Kestis was working in salvage and where the Bad Batch visited. Anybody who brings up Cal Kestis is my friend. Oh, how I love Fallen Order.
I don't even see that comment. Is that down here? Is
Yep.
that this? There you go. Yeah, for some reason, my on this StreamYard, my bottom comment is blocked by a place where I can add
bar.
my own comic
Don't you love
or
that?
comment. Yeah. Um, it does look like that, and it could be that.
Which I think would be
it definitely-
great.
But it looks like scrap metal, and I'm assuming it's for the war efforts.
I literally
know.
just got goosebumps thinking about a live action appearance of Cal Kestis in this. I doubt that's going to actually happen, but the thought
That's
that
the
it
thing
could.
is, I think that's one of the reasons why I like this trailer so much. It's not tied.
I think it's all fresh faces.
Yeah, it's not tied to the Clone Wars with the exception of Mon Mothma. But again, she's established in live action, and yeah. Darth Maul appears in Solo.
But is there a lightsaber?
And just, he lights his lightsaber. It's nuts. He does it over the transmission.
Does he light his lightsaber?
He lights his lightsaber. Yeah, 100%.
And then walks off.
His transmission is blue, but his lightsaber comes through red. Yeah.
Because
it's so close.
Yeah,
it almost happened in Rogue One, but they added the Vader scene. Which is just so cool. That Vader scene is just so cool. Really, Star Wars is cool.
I just can't even wait for Kenobi because of what they're going to do with Vader. I think Vader's going to be dark in Kenobi.
Well, I mean, I don't want to bring the room down, but we had a show on Wednesday, and I was really struggling. My mind wasn't in the right place with current events,
and
I'm like, I was just up. I was awake in the middle of the night, couldn't sleep. And I kept thinking about Darth Vader with the younglings.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, he's a bad guy. I'm glad he didn't kill Palpatine. He's a horrible person. Granted, he was under the influence of the dark side, and his judgment was clouded by the dark side. But still, like, that's kind of unforgivable. And so now I like Rey even more. And
I think that's one of the darkest scenes in all Star Wars lore is the ignition of the saber in the presence of the younglings. That is a lot. That's heavy.
It was a bold choice.
Yeah.
It was a really bold choice. And Lucas was like, this is where I'm going. This is what Darth Vader is. And then that's, whatever.
I think that, anyway. I think that to capitalize on that, I think there's a lot of people who glorify Vader as like an anti-hero or a lovable villain. I think that Darth Vader is next to Palpatine, I think is the darkest soul to ever walk through Star Wars. I think that Darth Vader is pure evil. I think he's pure evil, except at the very end, because there are so many things, like especially when you look through the comic series, there are thousands of unforgivables that character commits.
Yeah. But again, You can. I mean, listen. I don't know. I don't. He is definitely clouded by the Emperor. The Emperor is manipulated in the same way the Emperor manipulated Kylo Ren and everybody else in the galaxy. Like the Emperor is powerful, but I mean,
I will say this.
Look at Attack of the Clones.
I think it's smart that Kylo nor Anakin survive, because there's no way to reconcile what they did in their living if they were to continue living. It's just, there's just no way for them to untangle the complexity of that.
So Anakin becomes a Force ghost at the end of Return of the Jedi, and Lucas went in and changed it so it was Episode 3, Anakin with the long hair.
Yes.
I get it. It's the whole thing is he reverts back to before he was good. But he still had short-haired Anakin when he killed the Tusken Raider children.
Yes, which is dark.
So it's like it was kind of already there. So I don't know. Here's the thing.
Let's compartmentalize and talk about Andor.
But the thing is, so this is a timeline where Vader exists. I'm really hoping we don't see him.
I do too.
But I was just thinking about it at the same time, as this is also a timeline where Krennic exists, and I would absolutely love to see Krennic in some form or another, or even Galen Erso. I don't know. I know I hate them going back and being like, oh, cool character reveal of the week. But we only got one Rogue One, and I like those characters so much. So
I love when Star Wars says, let's just let it be. Let's just let it be and let your imagination simmer with these things instead of answering all of the questions. That's what I love. So if we were not to see them again, I'd be fine with that, because my imagination can run and wander.
I feel like this will be a great story to fill a gap between Episode 3 and 4. And just to kind of see the state of the galaxy immediately following the events of Episode 3.
Now, this is a limited series like Kenobi, right? We're just getting this one, or is this?
I believe it's season 1. I could be wrong. There's so much information flying around the internet. Yeah. I have no idea.
Well, and I think after Book of Boba Fett, I think that they are very shy to actually label something season 1 until they can see the success of that. Oh, hey,
Jeremy Kelly,
it's me. Good to see you, man.
All right, I know we don't have to dwell on this shot, but I love the THX vibes.
Oh, without a doubt. I'm seeing 1138 all over this.
Yeah.
Which I'm curious, what are they making? What are they working on here?
Are they sewing? The thing in the very middle looks like a sewing machine, but they also have things that you could pull down from the top, which maybe they're packing things. Maybe they're collecting scrap and creating the weapons. But
wait, what are we seeing? So this kind of scary looking dude on. So if we're looking at the image to the left, look down by his hand, and does that not look like a saber hilt to you? Or a little bit or something like a blaster. I think that we're seeing some sort of weapons creation here of some sort.
Right. I can see that. But so here's the thing. They're also something's catching their attention. And I don't think it's the same bell ringing, but it feels like almost an Order 66 thing, where maybe this is during Order 66. Around the galaxy, problems are happening.
Do you think that they're going to live action Order 66?
Well, I mean, they did it in Episode 3, but
it was like this much. Like to continue on with that, it seems excessive.
I'm all about.
They're making some ice cream makers with Wilro Hood. They're for Wilro Hood. I wish that's what they were doing. Let's like all these ice cream makers.
Man, I'm not getting that one on here.
So Dartherian says that there were 3 seasons, originally supposed to be 5, and Jeremy says the same thing. So they did cut it down to 3. I'll be curious. How long this lasts, if it's enough for 3 seasons.
This could be maybe all these people reacting around the galaxy. this could be the starting point of the show. This could be Order 66 is happening. We see it around the galaxy, and that's what thrusts us into this timeline. This is our marker. This is Order 66. We're feeling it around the galaxy, and now we're going to start our story with Cassian. You know what I mean?
That could possibly be. It's some speculation there.
Yeah, it's interesting that it's all these people are definitely not within earshot of that bell at the beginning.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
They're all looking at something.
But you'll notice that it's just those 5 in the front there. Okay. See, the guys in the back are still working. Yeah.
Yeah, they're putting together something.
It looks like they're actually physically working on that gray piece of metal in the back.
The guy in the back, it kind of sort of has a probe droid.
Yeah, I could see that.
What are you guys building back there? Yeah, see, they're pulling the hydro spanners down or whatever they call them. They have those in the droid depot.
Exactly. Yeah, in
Galaxy's Edge, you pull down the screws. Man, for $99, that thing is so much fun. The droid builder,
a blast. It's a blast. I'm really, really hoping that they actually will allow me in the near future to make a little BD unit. Because if they did that, they're watching Empire Celebration live streams. Yeah, exactly.
On the HoloNet. That was
Okay, so here's where something comes in. So I want us to look at the weaponry here because it is.
Oh, that's Cassian up front, right?
Oh, it could be a young Cassian, and that's what I noticed is he's looking like a little baby face. He's a fresh-faced kid in this entire trailer. Whenever we see him.
Oh, maybe.
Okay, see that right there.
Hiding weapons.
Well, no, but did you see the weapons themselves?
I did.
They weren't blasters. They're not a traditional blaster. They're actually built like an AK-47. That's something that fascinated me about this is I've never seen a blaster like this in the history of exactly. And you'll actually
fire blaster bolts.
You see it a second time. And this is where I was saying earlier that it's totally Cold War vibes with this entire thing. And so I'm wondering, do these actually shoot a blaster bolt, but they're designed like an AK? Because it is so very different. So very different.
I think this is a primitive planet that uses bullets.
So I'll be really curious because there's a lot of talk in the Star Wars universe about actual bullets being used in the galaxy and if it actually happened or not. So this could actually canonize that there was live ammunition used in the galaxy. But I don't know. It's really hard to tell.
Let's just go back here real quick. This is Stevie's guess. K2SO.
Same color.
Yeah. That'd be fun. We're going to see the birth of K2SO. I feel like he's in the show, right? He's got to be in the show. I'm assuming.
Potentially. I mean.
Okay.
So here's where that bell.
And then again,
are these clone transports? Is that what we're looking at here?
Similar to the Republic gunships, but they don't have the bubbles on the side with the turrets.
Yeah.
But they definitely evoke that.
But what you can see is these are definitely flying into the city of whatever the bell ringer at the beginning is part of. Because as you can see down on the lower level there, you've got the town, but then you've got that elevated area that you pointed out earlier.
Yeah. And it looks like there's some like castles on top. Or are those the guns that we saw? I don't know. Stuff like this it's going to be something nothing. If you look down towards the bottom, though, it looks like the bottom left, there's some farmland.
Or, what was the remains of farmland? It looks like there's scaffolding, like they're actually building something. Yeah. You could be
Defensive?
Right. This could be like a very funky Jeddah feel to it because you've got that raised area in the middle of the city. So, I mean, it could just be on a very Hovercast day.
Maybe once they start taking the Kyber, Jeddah turns into a deserted wasteland.
A wasteland, yeah. But this guy's hat cracks me up.
I love these hats. They remind me of the cloud car pilots from Cloud City.
I could see that. This guy definitely gives me what's the name of the comedian who's in The Last Man on Earth? Shoot, what's his name?
Will Forte?
Yes, I get Will Forte vibes from that guy right there. It's obviously not him, but are we? Oh, okay.
Is that a cross section of an X-wing?
I was just gonna say,
if you look in the back, the structures look like those two structures we saw on that distant hill.
I could see that, and I definitely think that is like an X-wing fuselage, is what it kind of looks like.
Yeah, look at all those wires.
And he's back. I want to know what her story is.
She's clearly hiding.
Yeah.
Is she a Jedi in hiding? Is she just a rebel?
I get the impression that we're not going to see much Jedi going on here.
I don't want to see any.
I don't either.
Like I said, there's no Star Wars thing that doesn't have a lightsaber, and so that would be nice to. Wait, did Book of Boba Fett have the dark saber? Okay.
Yeah.
Who are these?
And you had the training with Luke as well in Book of Boba Fett,
right?
Which had a lot of lightsaber
and Yoda's
training.
Lightsaber.
These guys definitely look like they're ride operators at a Disney park. There's just no question about that.
The colors, yeah,
and it's just funky looking.
Are these are the Star Tours cast member colors, right?
They look very, very similar.
So are these like Imperial officers in training? Is this something else?
It's definitely not. I don't get any Imperial vibes from these guys. I mean, their little hats are cute. They've got cute little brims that do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that I think what we're seeing is the splintering of the galaxy. That this is also the Empire trying to solidify itself as the leadership.
Or these were the leaderships of this city, and they've been taken over by the Empire and said, "Okay, you're part of the Empire now. Go door to door and start."
The local law of sorts. Yeah, they do
regional
look like
governors. Are they regional governors?
I want to know who they're talking to. This person with quite the mop top.
It looks like who is the sort of like B. Arthur looking Fraggle from Fraggle Rock. I forget the Fraggle Rock's names.
I like just calling it the B. Arthur Fraggle. Yes,
I think the McDonald's toy she was driving the eggplant.
This is impressive that your knowledge of the B. Arthur Fraggle goes that deep, Ralph. Well done.
But it stops. It doesn't include the name of the character.
See, look at that little baby face.
Oh.
Here.
Can I just tell you though? Classic Stormtroopers. They're so great. I love biker scouts. I like the design on the First Order, and then the Final Order with the red ones.
Yeah,
like I like every version of the Stormtrooper. But man, just seeing original costume Stormtroopers walking and patrolling, nothing beats it.
It's too iconic.
Yeah. So he's in this city. So maybe the other one was a flashback, the more primitive one. I don't know.
They're so proud of them.
Okay, is this regional governors? Look at this room. I'm so happy with this room right here because we only see Imperials in black rooms with shiny floors.
That is very true. That this is actually the antithesis of that we've got nothing but white light. And yeah, that's a very good point. I get very, very much a vibe of Doctor Strangelove with this shot.
Mm-hmm.
It's very Doctor Strangelove to me.
And it looks like in the center there's a place for them to
like some sort of hollow.
Holograms.
Yeah, exactly.
So who would be in there? Are we gonna get an updated Tarkin?
Or are we going to start seeing the council that's putting together the Death Star here? Is this what we're seeing? And this is where we actually see the display of the Death Star as they're designing it. Yeah.
Is that Krennic in the middle? No.
None of these faces look familiar. Here.
I like this room a lot, though.
I agree. I agree. I never even put together. I didn't think about the play off of the white instead of the shiny black. That's good
Would you?
observation.
And I keep going back to this. I don't need to see characters come back, but I feel like they did a Luke redemption in season 2 of Mandalorian or in Book of Boba Fett
Uh-huh.
from season 2. What if they do Tarkin? What if Tarkin is so right and he pops up in the center of this? There's clearly a hologram.
In order to do like a motion capture CG Tarkin face, I think that it would only be able to work at this point in some sort of hollow transmission like that.
Yeah.
I love this though. I think that this to me, there's something clandestine about what we're seeing here. That
Yeah.
this is, and who knows, maybe because we do see the Galactic Senate soon, maybe this is where we start to see the undermining of the Imperial Senate.
Can I tell you what's great about this room? What makes this room awesome is the decorations on the walls look 70s.
You know what I think we're actually seeing? This is in Orlando, and this is what's actually at the top of the Epcot ball.
Oh,
we've just cracked the code.
Listen, I don't follow Disney stuff as much as you do, but the one thing I've found in the last week or so, with all the controversies surrounding whatever is going on in Florida, apparently there's some new lights on Spaceship Earth that people are just mad about. And I'm like, I didn't even bother to look it up because I'm like, it's lights? How bad the lights be?
I mean, I gotta say that I'm a truster of the Imagineers, and it looks awesome. They've got all these points of LED light all over Spaceship Earth, and you can do all these different things with it. And that's why I think that you actually see the birth of the Imperial Senate at the top of the Epcot ball.
I mean, the symbolism alone, it tracks. Oh, who's this guy?
I want to know who that cat is.
Also, I don't think we've seen just blue bars.
And that's the thing is I'm not familiar with Imperial rank, so I don't even know what that rank would be. Yeah. I'm sure that there's somebody out there who's already been like, oh well, that's High Commander with 5 squares, 5 square High Commander.
It looks like a person in old man makeup.
I thought the same thing. It definitely does not look convincing. And maybe that's just really offensive to that dude. I don't know.
Sorry, dude. Hey, listen, we're just saying that you look young at heart, and underneath there is a
we're saying your face looks like a prosthesis. Now, this is something that I find really interesting.
I don't know what I was doing while watching the trailer. I did not remember the shot. This is the first time we've seen Imperial officers drink, at least in live action.
And it makes you wonder, are they doing a toast of some sort, or is this just them having their morning calf?
Oh.
Because why are they drinking simultaneously?
They're down below. They're like in a Star Destroyer, like down below in the pit. And so they're looking up. Who are they looking up at?
Or are they watching something? Are they watching something on a video screen?
I can't. There's no.
So this woman, we've seen her much more than Cassian in this.
Right.
Satisfied.
Wait, but that's a different woman. This is a different woman. But I think this is the older version of that. So that's why I think that she is Cassian's sister. And we see young girl.
Put her in similar colors.
Yes. And she's got just the same facial structure. And she just looks so much like that young girl.
I like these structures.
I love that this feels very, very much like some sort of slummy bodega.
I don't think we've seen a lot of bricks in Star Wars other than Octo with Luke.
And those are very primitive feeling. This feels more like an actual designed brick. That's a good point.
Also, what's interesting, well, I guess there's the guy at the bar is looking at her. No one else is running.
Acknowledging, yeah.
So she's being chased by somebody.
I mean, if Star Wars has taught us anything, if Star Wars has taught us anything, everybody who has significance starts out as a street rat. So maybe she's a street rat, and that's what we're seeing here.
Could be. Ooh,
This I love. I'm
Coruscant.
assuming this Coruscant, yeah.
Oh, but look at those buildings. Look so nice.
And it's just
It
so
looks like
epic.
a real place.
They're everywhere.
This woman, who is she? She looks so familiar. I know that I've seen.
She looks like Lori Petty.
I think she looks like a young Ellen DeGeneres. That's what I kept thinking the entire time. I was like, that's young Ellen. But I don't know who she is.
Now we've gotten a female Imperial officer in Rebels, but I believe this is a first. No, we have some First Order officers, but she has Death Troopers with her,
and they're
which
epic
means
looking.
she's on a level of Krennic.
You know more about rank than I do, clearly. We
never see him. We never see him except for Rogue One, and Krennic's the only one that has the Death Troopers. I guess they also show up in Bad Batch, if I remember correctly.
And it looks almost like she's got similar rank if we're looking at her fatigues here of sorts.
Yeah. Are we gonna get Bad Batch, guys? Is it gonna be Tamara Morrison, de-aged? I don't want it. I want this to be its own thing.
I want it to be its own thing.
Yeah. Coruscant.
Which I love the design of these. I love the design of these. Actress's name is Denise Gao or Go. Thank you. I'm going to look this up.
Is that this? Nope. Yeah, this is really weird. What an interesting thing to make it so I can't see the most recent comment.
Right?
They're watching me now.
I want to know who this is. I'm assuming that she's a spy.
It's Mon Mothma.
Is that supposed to be Mon Mothma?
No, it is Mon Mothma.
Wait, then who is the old
Mon Mothma? This is Mon Mothma.
It looks
now.
And this is the same lady.
So who are we seeing at the very end of the trailer? This elderly
Cassian?
woman.
Oh, I don't know who that is. But this is the same actress that played Mon Mothma in episode 3. Her scenes were cut, and then she came back for Rogue One.
Okay, because that's what I was thrown off as. I'm only used to the pixie cut Mon Mothma.
Yeah. That's Mon Mothma there. And then I like the shot because she's smiling like at a dinner party, but she's up to something.
Because
by the time the shot ends, she's not smiling anymore.
And when you hear the voiceover with it. So there we have those bullets. AKs. We have those AKs. And look at the guy in the back with the red hat. That is definitely a Ukrainian Russian influenced, Eastern European look to it. But then you've got this guy over here on the right who's got clearly just a traditional blaster tucked into the appendix area of the belt.
Yeah.
So this feels
look at the huts they're living in.
But this is what I love is it feels so very Cold War era. I mean, did you watch, what was the name of that film? It was about the end of World War II. Shoot, I can't remember it off the top of my head. But I'm almost getting a feeling of, what is it called? First PG-13 movie, because it was so disturbing with the Russians invading the United States. Red Dawn. Red Dawn. Yes.
Red Dawn.
This feels very Red Dawn to me.
Right. And it seems like, they're gathering up stuff that whatever they can, and they're forced to have these very primitive weapons.
And again, are we seeing color scheme meaning something here, that we've got this yet like drab yellowish gold?
Is it a flashback, you mean?
Yeah. Or are we seeing that this culture has now been more ragged, and that more brilliant yellow that we saw in the early tribe has now diminished a bit from a costume perspective?
I have no idea. I could see it happening. I don't know.
There's so much uncharted territory with this trailer. That's what I love, is there's really nothing for us to connect, or there's limited things for us to connect.
Because with Obi-Wan, you're like, oh, Inquisitors, I've seen that. I know what that's about.
The world feels familiar.
I know Luke. I know who Obi-Wan is. I know that he's a crazy old hermit. I know that Uncle Owen doesn't like Ben.
Mm-hmm.
This one's like, I have no idea. This could be before the Empire. This could be well after the Empire. I don't know. That's what I'm excited about, is seeing the time frame. It's just unfortunate that we already know Cassian's
fate
demise, but yeah.
Soon enough.
So this is
we're seeing that same
that
location.
same place. So is this the same place as the junkyard?
I don't
gotta be.
know. I just want
Because
to know
the
what
guy you said
Skarsgård
that
is
looked like-
holding. Is it a cane?
Oh, I thought I was going to say binoculars.
No, I'm saying on the right hand.
Could be a cane. Do we get a close up
These
right
days.
I
That's
love
cool.
anything with a Skarsgård in it.
I think it's a cane. Which, go buy a robot leg, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he's looking for robot legs.
That's what he's scouting right now. Your leg
Yeah.
will do.
Soon enough. These days will end.
These are fascinating because we've got these little whirlpools that we see that they're actually sucking resource down in with.
Yeah.
And it
It
seems like
almost
such
looks
a,
like an early version of Scarif.
to me, it's just such a non sequitur that it's like, okay, why are you showing this? This is such a tiny clip. Is there
It's
significance or
really
is this just filler?
It's really showing off a lot of planets,
Uh-huh.
is what it's doing. So I like this idea of it being like just traveling the galaxy.
Are we seeing resources being gathered for the building of the Death Star?
Maybe.
That's where you see this little like scrapyard area. That's why we're seeing all these different areas, that we're seeing all of these resources being gathered by the Empire to build the most ambitious. Ah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
More imperial officers, and these dudes with their white striped pants and their snow boots.
It is, but again, it feels very 77 Star Wars, that it feels
Yeah.
like they just went to the local thrift store to see what they could find. And I want to know what this little taser thing is that he's got on his belt.
Okay, hold on. These guys are in a hallway, and that's the back of an Imperial shuttle. This
But
guy
it's
is now
Docking somehow.
docked. And if you look, it's going to be hard to point out on this shot.
But
If
does
you
that
look here? There looks like there's a shuttle just on the left side of the this platform.
so are we
So it could be
seeing
this
are we
place.
seeing the interior of this
Maybe
whatever this refinery is?
could be.
I get very
Holding cells?
Darth Vader exiting a ship vibes with that blow down, that it's almost like the old 1-2. What are these? Are these like areas that you can sit and look at this monitor?
Oh, I didn't even know this. I didn't realize that was a thing. It looks like little quarters, like
Exactly.
you can go and sit and sleep, and
Like a
it's
little booth of sorts.
yeah, for probably these workers.
And these workers,
Where are these guys?
I'm telling you, man, I've got a theory that I think that they're all building the Death Star. I think that all of this stuff is leading to the building of the Death Star.
They're not building the Death Star. They're building the super laser for the Death Star.
Ah, that could
Because
be.
by the end of episode 3, they've got some Death Stars pretty much built. So could this be where they built the super laser, and what Krennic, because that was the whole thing. Krennic was working on the super laser. So could this be where they build a super laser? I have no idea.
I
It
think
looks
that this,
like it looks like this hallway, the lights go to red. That door probably opens, and these guys probably come in from the end of their shift, or they all exit and leave the shift or leave this hallway to go here. If you see, there's people walking one way and people on another catwalk walking the other way. It reminds me of Fritz Lang's Metropolis, where as one shift people come in, the others are leaving. And so these could be, I mean, did they use humans to help build the Death Star? I know they bumped off the Geonosians.
I think that at least to me, that's exactly what this feels like, is that this is the story of how they were able to compile the entire plans to take down the Death Star. Is we're seeing the story of the completion of the most deadly force in the galaxy. So it's building to Rogue One in that way.
Who are you? I don't know.
I feel like he
Just
is
a guy, I guess.
he's the dollar store version of Zac Efron.
All right. And that's a young Cassian?
I
in
think
that
so.
hologram. Okay. More bells.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, so
This
is
really
is that
interesting.
same guy? Is this the guy that was
think it
just
is.
looking at the hologram?
I think so. But this is interesting. So when Gareth Edwards did Rogue One, they put out a featurette that was the big reveal at Celebration, and it just showed a bunch of close-ups of people's faces just in the movie. Just the boom, 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 flashes of different alien and people faces. This montage is very interesting to me.
I think that I love that cutaway, that crossfade from this guy into
Back ahead,
Mr. Drummer.
back ahead, back ahead, back ahead.
Yeah.
Standing up.
So wait, real quick, I see
Clone
that.
Troopers.
Yeah, that's what I love seeing. This guy that's in the blue, I see him as a defector. I think that this is his like disillusionment moment, that he sees what his group has done, and that's when he realizes that his moment of change needs to come. That's the feeling that I get from that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He lost his hat. He lost his hat.
And I think that he sees the destruction of the basically it almost feels like a Gestapo type feel here, that they're going from door to door.
Who's the dude from Rebels with the mutton chops?
You're gonna hate me just as much as Michael, my co-host, hates me. But I don't love Rebels. I don't love Rebels. I have to.
How far did you make it?
I made it into like episode 3 of season 2.
Okay.
And I tried. And Michael's going to compile. He's going to compile like the greatest hits for me, so I can watch those episodes to see if I can get into it. But it's just so hard for me. So hard.
I get it.
That is a great observation, though. Yeah, great observation that you're seeing the backs of these heads. So it's the opposite of what you were talking about at Celebration.
In filmmaking, this is something I learned. I took an animation class once. And one of the things I learned is when you show the back of somebody's neck on film, it makes the audience uneasy because it shows that they're vulnerable. If you look at Ghostbusters, Dana Barrett puts her hair up, it pans behind her, and then the claws come out and get her. If you look at you'll notice, like, pretty much just keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, that's a good observation.
But it's a form of invulnerability.
Is ET on this wall, do you think?
I'm looking. It looks empty, huh?
Yeah, it does look very strange. It almost looks like she's visiting the Senate that has been dissolved. Or she's getting there before everybody arrives. But I would like that idea. I like that
the emperor's like dissolved the Senate.
Yes. So that ties back into that little clandestine Epcot meeting that we were talking about too. That maybe that's his board of advisors or something along those lines. I like to think that they're the masterminds behind. I'm just creating my own storyline here, that this is all about the Death Star.
I mean, it's gotta come up.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, I don't know if it's as connected.
More backs. Well, I just want to check out some.
This one, I love when you see this little, like, I don't know what the vehicle is that flies by, but I love seeing it. I think is it like a TIE fighter?
Yes, that's just a good old fashioned TIE fighter. Man, it goes so fast.
I know.
And where is this location? Looks like an even different place.
Yeah.
There's a ton of locations. This might be a lot of fun. Okay. That's probably just Cassian with a hood on. That's not like a Jedi or anything.
I think that you're right. That's the same feeling.
It's another location. How many planets are going to be in this show?
This, for me, I get very Final Fantasy VII vibes from that shot. Just
Okay.
that one where it's almost like this very industrial, dark world. And I'm very curious to see how they handle the clones in this.
But what's interesting is that those don't look like CGI clones. It looks like they finally made real clone trooper armor
Oh, I sure hope so.
for live action. Because I don't recall them doing clone troopers in live action.
Oh,
They've
yeah.
always been animated.
Yeah, that's a great question. Because there's no way that that's animation. There's just no way.
No. Okay, there she is
Here's
again. Behind
the
her, we
runner.
see that armor. We see the fancy boy armor.
Ah, ha ha.
So she's been caught?
Fancy boy. I like that that's his name now.
Well, I just meant
No, I
the
like
guys
it.
with the little hats.
Even when I learn his name, they will only be known as the fancy boys.
Ooh.
I love this thing. It is very clunky to me, and I
Okay.
love a clunky. Oh, we got blue fancies again.
Yeah, the fancies in versus the speeder. So she must have got into a speeder. Oh man. Oh, it's done.
Well, I hope she's not in that.
Maybe that's why she's so beat up in the previous shot. Oh, look at
That is
shot.
true. That would take a
Oh, what a
miracle.
great shot.
Yeah. There he is again.
There he is again. Yeah, he looks upset. Let's say this is young Blake. Who would this be young like? It's not Han Solo. It's
I think he's a new character. I think he's a new defector, and I have a theory that he's going to die through the series. That like towards the end, he's going to give his life to help the rebellion. I'm just writing this show myself right now. I don't care what they have planned. They just need to take what I have and put it forward. Oh, they did have live action.
Okay. Oh,
I love that
like
3-frame shot.
Yeah.
Which look at that sky. Look at that sky.
There's a lot of lights in the sky.
Exactly.
Is it an invasion?
I don't know. I think it's an atmospheric thing. I think that we're going to see an epic world.
And someone getting into a single star TIE fighter.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, here you go. Oh, that's like an explosion.
But
it's like a green explosion.
There's no way that is the cockpit of that TIE.
No, it's not.
And so are we seeing him jump to light speed from this sparkle planet?
Sparkle planet is my new favorite planet. He might be giving chase. So he's in this ship and he is being chased by the dude jumping down on the TIE fighter. Let's see the reverse shot of this. God, that's so fast. It's too fast.
It is so fast.
Okay, that's definitely not a TIE fighter. So the TIE fighter person is chasing. And if you look at the back there, it looks like a fairly big ship. It may be an Imperial shuttle. Because there's a doorway back there.
I do get that feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
I prefer my Cassian with some facial hair. Not gonna lie.
No idea who this lady
is. Who's this lady?
Who's this lady?
Yeah.
I need everyone to say something in the chat who this lady is. And why is she being lit with like stuff from the set?
It does feel like they're like, let's just put this gel over that light, call it a day.
What a reckoning sounds like.
Like I have no idea who this is.
So look,
and
though,
I feel
again,
bad of speculating.
Look at what we see with her costuming. That it's very much in line with what we see with
General Leia.
Well, I see there being that continued drab gold yellow theme going on here.
Yeah.
But I don't get the impression that I don't know. She looks she looks haggard. She looks like she's seen a lot of life.
Yeah. Okay. No idea who that is. Cassie's grandma. Yeah, I don't. If this is a character from like the books or someone that I don't know, like I'm guessing that's what Dartharian is. Vima
Wow,
Deboda.
Vima Deboda. That's a deep cut. That's a crazy deep cut.
But it's one of those things where we come to expect from these trailers like to have a big moment at the end before we see the title. And this character coming in and having like one of the only few like spoken lines on
Spoken lines.
screen, it adds a lot of weight to this character. I'm not exactly sure. Hey,
Which I
I'm
love the reworking of this font.
I like this font a lot. I like the negative space on the O.
Mm-hmm.
This is a real good font.
Which, as sad as this is, I was like, I wonder what that would look like to use that font. It's like, that's got to be difficult.
Yeah.
I just shut out.
Dartharian just shout out a old Legends character. Hey, but it might. I mean, if it's a character that fits this time period and stuff, it could be. I have no idea. And so this is starting on August 31st. So as far as live action Star Wars goes, and then is that the last thing? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pop this over. So as far as live action Star Wars go, we're going to be doing Kenobi, and then we're going to be covering the ILM documentary that's coming out. I think it's a weekly show, and then I think right into Andor.
It's going to be a busy summer.
I gotta be honest, I'm more excited for this Andor show because
than Kenobi.
Because it has more question marks.
Yeah, I will say that there is a lot of mystery. Obi-Wan Kenobi is one of my favorite characters in Star Wars history. So I am beyond excited, especially to see if they take any of the Marvel comic series on Kenobi and add that into what we see, because it was a great series. And so I'll be very, very interested to see, because I really want to see this Kenobi and Vader connection in there.
Yeah.
I am so excited for that. So it's going to be hard for me to say that I'm more excited for Andor, because Cassian Andor to me is a very divisive character. The fact that he kills that informant at the beginning of Rogue One, that's a dark, that's like an ethically and morally very questionable thing that he does there. And so having that, I've always been on the fence about my appreciation for Cassian, because I think that he is, if we're looking at Jedi, he's a gray rebel in that way.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that everyone loved Han Solo about was the fact that he shot Greedo in cold blood.
Yeah. Which is awesome in Solo.
And it's like, and so you're like, oh, he's like, what's up with this guy? I want to know more about this guy. So I think the same thing with Cassian. Rogue One, we get little bits of information as it goes along. He said he's been fighting this war since he was like 6 years old or something. And so like, that's a tidbit where I'm like, oh, I'd like to explore that more. And so I'm glad. I don't like that they're going backwards in the timeline, but I think of any of the characters that I'd like to see more of would be Cassian, because we got so much of Jin's backstory in Rogue One. Solo was talking about a character we'd seen in several movies, and pretty much I don't know. It feels like everybody's been established, including like Obi-Wan. We've got enough Obi-Wan, and George Lucas left episode 3 with enough information for us to pick up on episode 4.
But that's why I love that it's a limited series. I love it being a limited series.
Yes. Fill the gaps so that we can get everything taken care of him out of the way. And we know exactly what that is. But for this, I find it more exciting because it's so unknown.
Yeah, I agree. And the things that we've seen in this trailer paint a picture of a different galaxy than we've ever encountered before. And so that's what I'm most curious about. And I wouldn't mind doing a rewind to kind of get a whole Cassian flashback story. And if Cassian's sister or relative, if we can assume that, is a prominent figure with this too, I say bring it on. I love new characters, and I would be really excited to see her growth.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited.
There's
I'm
a lot
excited.
to digest.
And if anything, if there's going to be any sort of Filoni characters coming in, I wouldn't mind seeing a Hera.
Mm.
I don't know if Chopper would fit the tone of this, but definitely Hera. Hera is one of my favorite characters in Rebels.
Yeah, I mean, they
need
do
this-
fit the
I don't think I
same.
need Kanan. I don't need any Jedi stuff.
I would prefer, and you know my love of Jedi. You know my love of
I
the
love
Jedi.
Jedi.
That's like my.
I have
That's
5
my,
lightsabers sitting
yeah,
right here.
That's my world. That's my world. But I'm totally fine having a piece of Star Wars that doesn't focus on Jedi, because this is the thing. I feel like this retcon light that they've done of how all of these Jedi survived Order 66 makes it feel a little bit less like the purge of Order 66 was so intense that it's like, okay, it killed off all the Jedi, but now we see, like, now at this point all bets are off with how many actually survived.
Right.
And so that's where the Ahsoka series I'm very excited to see, because again, what I love is that Ahsoka's not actually a Jedi, but is the best Jedi of all time, in my opinion.
Right.
Her heart is of the Jedi.
She's an example of what the Jedi should have been.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about Filoni's direction with Ahsoka, which our next episode on The Smuggler's Dispatch is actually devoted to my favorite Star Wars character of all time, Ahsoka Tano.
Really?
Yes.
Favorite of all time.
Favorite of all time.
Mine is an interesting choice. But
wait, who is yours?
Luke Skywalker.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, it's the most like basic answer. Like, it's the answer that I've given since I was 3 years old.
But
Luke Skywalker's the best.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think for some reason there's this pressure in the Star Wars world for us to go deep cut and be like, oh, well, I actually prefer this character that you only saw in one episode of the Clone Wars because of his dynamic. But to me, I'm like, Luke Skywalker is every person. He is the ultimate hero on a journey.
Yeah.
And so of course he is nothing but icon and connection. So I don't fault you at all for that. I think that's a great choice.
It's just silly. It's just kind of silly. Thank you for joining me. We've gone an hour and 8 minutes on this. It was totally last minute. I told Stevie that we would get down to the convention center around 2 so we could get our COVID wristbands. We're doing it today.
Get out there, man.
We have passes for Friday and Saturday.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
But before you see me both days, I will be returning here with James, who said he's taking off the 31st for our Andor discussion, and then that'll take us through November. Star Wars is nonstop now. Anybody who complains about anything Star Wars, fine. If you don't care for Rebels, fine. Guess what? There's Star Wars
so
around
much.
The corner. It's crazy how much Star Wars is around the corner. There's a new Star Wars tomorrow, and it's like not even the first thing on my mind. I've got to get to the convention center, get my COVID thing done, my wristband, and then later I'll think about. But yeah, within a matter of hours, I mean, it's going to be like 12 hours, but
still,
Ewan McGregor's back for Obi-Wan. And me and James will,
tomorrow's going to be rough for me because I'm a huge fan of Stranger Things too. And you got Stranger Things season 4 episode or series 1 dropping at the same time as Kenobi. And so I'm going to have to probably neglect my family for a number of hours tomorrow. They're going to
definitely neglect social media.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be a mess. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for doing this last minute. Everybody, go to the Smuggler's Dispatch. Also, highly recommend The Backside of Water.
Very different
you just
from
released
this.
Your Utopia episode.
Yes.
You haven't done Star Tours yet, correct?
No. Because I cannot wait because my podcasts are going to be crossing over when we get to Star Tours. And
All right.
we've got so much building there. Yes.
All right. I'm excited. Thanks again, everybody who joined last minute. Thank you very much. And I'm going to go ahead and see. This is tough, James. You're making it really tough because you know how this back end works. So if you wanna feed me this line in a couple seconds, Alex.
Shoot.
So
wait, you just want me to
James
feed that to Don't Give In to Hate? Because
Yeah.
you do your thing, and that's really long. So yes,
and I have to go.
Don't Give In to Hate.
And celebrate the love. And then he says, punch it.
Punch
and
it.
We're out of here.